Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Modern Publishing webinar. Today's webinar is Tools for Success with May McCarthy. And I'm very excited to have May on. She's an extraordinary entrepreneur. There's so many things I could tell you. In the business world, she's had great success. She's also published her own book, The Path to Wealth. She is an incredible mentor to people that are doing startups, that are running established businesses. She herself has grown 6 profitable businesses, 4 of which were multi-million-dollar technology companies. She is not only a brilliant businesswoman, but has this positivity and this optimism and this, I don't know if I would say mandate, maybe she will say mandate, to reach behind and pull up the people that aren't quite where she is yet, which is, well, all of us, frankly. So we're here as part of the University of Washington Business of Digital Publishing course. Some of the students are in on the webinar and will be asking questions after May is done speaking. And you can also join in and ask questions at home by using the chat tools, and we will do our best to get them in. We're having some interesting Google Hangout issues, and this is May's first time using this particular tool. So hang in there with us if we need to figure things out just a little bit. But you are welcome to watch the recording when we're done and go ahead and put in your questions. And May's actually going to be right here on my screen, so I'm going to hand it on over to her right now.
Hello, everyone. This is my first time using Google Hangouts as a presenter. Lots of tools out there, but this is my first time, so thank you. Thank you for bearing with me. As Kelsye said, I am a serial entrepreneur, an angel investor, a speaker, a teacher, most importantly, the last of 10 children. So I had to learn some sales and negotiating skills just to navigate through the family in Hawaii, and that has helped me immensely in my business. I'm planning to go through a presentation with you, not only to talk about goal attainment strategies that have helped me, but also some basics for operating as an entrepreneur and starting your own business. Many of you will have to actually go through the steps of starting your own business, whether you decide to have employees and grow them like I have to 250 employees and over 120 million in annual revenues, or whether you decide to keep your business small and just have yourself, or maybe just yourself and 1 employee. That's totally up to you. You still have to go through all the same steps in order to build your business. So hopefully I'll be able to share some information with you that you don't know and that can be helpful to you in your success. So I am going to attempt to bring up a presentation right now, which I will hover here. Uh-oh. Now my face is showing up. There we go. Okay. So the presentation that I have planned for you, yeah, I just keep popping in and out. Sorry about that, folks. Hi, Frank. Okay, so that's who I am. My name's May. My company today is Results. What I do is help lots of small and medium-sized businesses to elevate prosperity, improve profitability, and increase and accelerate their success in their business and whatever their goals are. I also, as Kelsye said, am a speaker and teacher. I do have a book out called The Path to Wealth, 7 Spiritual Steps for Financial Abundance from Hierophant Publishing. And in that, I describe what I'm going to talk to you a little bit about in terms of goal attainment techniques, as well as combining that with gratitude and a spiritual component. So let's go ahead and begin. The first thing that you have to do, you absolutely must do whenever you want to achieve something, is you have to have an intention. There has to be some sort of a plan. If you don't have a plan to achieve a goal, then it's really just a wish, and it'll never ever come to fruition. So an intention is the thing that you plan to do or achieve, and I mean the thing that you plan to achieve, not all the steps to get there. It's the thing that you want to achieve. So if you have a goal that you stand for something, it's the outcome of what you stand for, not the journey to get there. So I want you to think about intentions versus goals. Goals essentially are the specific steps that will result from what you have established as your intention. So for example, you might say, I intend to serve hundreds of customers in valuable ways. Or I intend to be fit enough to run a marathon. Or perhaps I intend to reduce my mortgage debt by 20%. These are your intentions. Your goals that will result from that will end up helping you to establish steps that will take you to a completed intention. So my goal might be that my business receives a minimum of $400,000 in sales this month. We now serve at least 10 new clients by the end of February. Or I enjoy running 5 miles a day, 3 days a week by this particular date. I easily am able to pay an additional $2,000 a month towards my mortgage starting on the 1st of March. So these individual goals, you still don't know how you're going to achieve them yet, but these individual goals support the intentions that you've established for yourself. But unless you have intentions and goals, you're never going to get anywhere. And they have to be specific enough. They must be specific enough. And being in the spiritual realm of teaching, often I hear a lot of my students and workshop attendees that will have goals like, oh, I want to experience peace, or love, or health, or harmony. Well, that's fine, but I want you to turn to somebody that you know and ask them, if I told you I want to experience peace, would you know how to help me? Well, neither can the universe. The universe can't help you unless you describe what it means to receive peace, or what it means to be financially free. For me, financially free is debt-free. For another person, it's being able to pay all their bills and then at the end of the month have more money in their account than they had last month. So your definition needs to be specific enough for you to achieve your goals. So hopefully everybody understands the difference there. I had great animation for this particular presentation, but because of our technical difficulties, you're seeing everything on a slide at once. And what I want you to know is that entrepreneurs, successful business people who work in companies and achieve their goals, have goals, and they revisit them every single day. Every day. They look at their list, they rewrite their list, they read their list out loud, and they keep their goals at the forefront of their thoughts so that they can notice possibilities of achieving them all day long. If you don't revisit your goals daily, you'll forget, and life will get in the way, and you'll start putting your attention on the things that are not so much fun, all the surprises, all the crises, all the other things in your life that are taking your attention, and it will be taken away from your goals, and therefore you won't see possibilities to achieve them. So it's really, really important that you have intentions and goals. And for entrepreneurs, some of the things that really get us excited is when we're creating products or services that solve problems or generate some conveniences. Okay? So for instance, many of you might have an iPhone. All right? There was a time when all we had were flip phones. That was the first cell phone that came out, was a flip phone. We were so excited. Actually, it was a brick, and the phone in the bag, which I'm dating myself because I had those. But we now have these cool little computers that are in our pockets and our purses. And Apple made the cell phone better. They saw an ability to create a convenience that was better than just making a phone call. So if you have a problem that you want to solve, if you want to, in one of the examples here in the class, if you want to help people stop poisoning themselves, then you need to you're going to be passionate about getting that word out, helping people to follow a program in order to help them be more healthy. So that fuel, that passion is something that you absolutely must have if you're going to be an entrepreneur. Why? Because you're going to spend 20 hours, 24 hours a day living, eating, and sleeping your dream. If you are not passionate about the solution, then you won't put in the time and effort. And every entrepreneur that I've met who has gotten into business just to make money has failed. Now, there may be some stories that, some have succeeded, but none that I've met. The ones that I've met have been very, very passionate about solving a problem or creating a convenience. So make sure that you are passionate about what you're doing, because you're going to spend a lot of time and possibly a lot of money getting it up and running. Here's some really famous entrepreneurs that you might recognize. And I'll give you a little story about one of them, and that's Bill Gates, who's here locally. When he was a teenager going to Lakeside High School, he used to break in to the school after hours. He was so passionate about computers. So passionate about computers, he just had to be on that computer. And this was a monster computer that was at school, but he just loved it. He just loved everything about computers. And he decided that everyone should have a computer, that every single person in every single home should have a computer. And he was passionate about creating that. And he did. And he did. He knew that this internet service that was only available through universities and schools could be available to all of us. And Windows is essentially laying over what has been in existence for universities for a long time, and it became easy for us to use. He was passionate about that. All of these entrepreneurs that are on the screen are incredibly passionate about what they were doing. They also have some characteristics. I'm going to give you a couple, just a little bit of background on me. You can probably tell just from my voice that I am very passionate about what I do, and I'll give you an idea from each one of these what passion was fueled with each of these companies. When I had finished my freshman year in college, and it was the summer before my sophomore year, and my sister decided that she didn't want to be in real estate anymore because she was away from her family every weekend and she wanted to be home with them. So she asked me if I'd be willing to go into business with her, and we started a retail fashion company that held fashion shows in hotels. We had 60 shows a week. 60 shows a week in the greater Seattle and Portland areas. We retailed through that. So I had 250 sales models that had to learn how to sell. And that was very, very fun. What was my passion? My passion was that there's a lot of people that travel for business. And I know that now because I travel 150,000 plus miles a year, domestic. And we are in hotels. We might go down to the bar and have a drink and maybe a snack. And if there's a fashion show going on and I can buy some garments there, most of what I wear I buy in airports as I'm traveling through terminals. But if I could buy something that I liked there at the show, that would be even easier. I could have a drink, I could have some food, and I could shop. Is that perfect? So I was really passionate about helping these traveling business people be able to buy gifts and to be able to take home beautiful gift boxed items while they're on the road. It just sounded like a great idea. So that was a good business while I was in college. And then in 1989, after I'd worked for Boeing and Johnson & Johnson, I decided that I do better as a business owner. I like being able to find solutions and improvements to what we're offering very, very quickly. In large companies, you can't move very, very quickly. So I started my own business again, and deregulation had just taken effect in the telecom industry. This is back when we used to actually pay for long-distance phone calls. And I got an opportunity to be a first reseller, rebiller for a company called MCI. And MCI allowed me to promote a discounted telephone service across the country to hospitals and healthcare-related facilities. So we were able to save them over half on their telephone service. And just to give you an example, Swedish Hospital right here up the road had been spending about $70,000 a month on telephone service, and they were able to save $35,000 a month. And they didn't have to do anything except agree to pay me in 7 days after they got the bill. So my passion was, wow, we could help them save money so they could improve patient care. Isn't that great? It was a great idea. The next business was an international phone company. I had come back from a trip to Europe with my husband, and we looked at our bill, our actual hotel bill, and the bill showed that the telephone charges from making phone calls from that hotel overseas to the United States was more than the cost of us staying there for a week. Our phone charges were more expensive. And we thought we need to solve that. So what we did was we created a service called Callback. We would give everyone in the world that wanted to sign up for our program a unique phone number in the United States. They would call that phone number, hear it ring once, and hang up. Now that's an incomplete call, so they weren't charged for it. But our computer equipment saw that they tried to call that number that's uniquely theirs. And we would call them back from the United States and then allow them to place a second call, kind of like a conference call, from the United States to anywhere else in the world at United States rates. So we were able to help save U.S. embassies, expat companies overseas, individuals up to 90% on their telephone charges. That made us really excited. So we grew that company to an awful lot of revenues. And then I was at the hospital and saw my mother get a medication error. My mother had had open heart surgery, and she had been given a drug that she should not have been given. There was no electronic medical record at that time that showed what patients should get. So they would be provided medications that the on-call doctor just prescribed. And the on-call doctor would always prescribe whatever the most popular painkiller was. Well, my mom was allergic to a lot of them. So she had open heart surgery with staples in her sternum. And they gave her one of those drugs. And she was so violently ill that she ripped apart the staples. So my brother and I decided that there has to be a solution for this. So we started a company with a third partner called Integrated Healthcare Systems, which later became Calus. And what we did, in a nutshell, was help get barcodes on all the drugs and help the hospitals save money on managing their inventories. So they'd bring us in. So they saved lots and lots of money, but we could also get a barcode on every single drug so that they could scan the barcode and scan the patient wristband to take all the information up to an electronic medical record and validate that the patient, it was okay to give the patient that drug. There were over 100,000 people that died every year in United States hospitals because of medication errors. And we wanted to solve that problem. Well, we sold our interest in that company in 2006, and in 2007 started a competing company. And then finally sold it to another giant $5.5 billion company in 2012. We helped hospitals save even more money all the way across all of their facilities, not just their hospitals, but their clinics, their surgery centers, and anywhere else that they had medications that they owned. So we were help them do an awful lot. These are just some of the companies that I've been involved in. I'm also an angel investor, and I end up helping a lot of small companies achieve their dreams. An entrepreneur is someone who really would rather work for themselves. They see solutions, they see opportunities much, much quicker. Much quicker. There's things that you all are doing that you can see the direct route to be able to solve a problem. But if you were limited in a large corporate structure, you might be prevented because of policies and procedures from enabling that solution to be taken advantage of right away. There might be approvals you have to go through, and managers you have to get approval from, and submissions for authorization from some other department, or you have to have a meeting to discuss it with lots of other people. Well, an entrepreneur sees a problem and they just go the fastest, most direct route to fix it. We already know what can be done. We call everyone that needs to be involved, and we get it done, and we're quick. And it frustrates us to have to go through the bureaucratic large company. Now, that's not to say that you can't grow into that and have huge success. Look at Jeff Bezos. Look at Bill Gates. Look at, Paul Allen, Steve Jobs, Oprah. Lots and lots of very, very successful entrepreneurs have gone on to create giant companies. And the way that they do that is they inflict and infect their attitude and their culture throughout their organization. So all of the people that are working for them are the very, very best talent possible. But you have to be the one that gets it started. You have to be the one that's most excited and the most passionate. Some other characteristics that entrepreneurs have is we're risk takers. And that's a very, very uncomfortable position for a lot of people to be in. I mean, I have a lot of friends, and I myself, I remember taking out second mortgages on my home in order to fund a business startup. I remember putting payroll on my credit card. There's a lot of people that would not want to take that kind of a risk, and that's okay, because companies need employees as well. You can be entrepreneurial as an employee. We call them intrapreneurs. And you can still be innovative and creative, but not have to take the risk. And I've had lots and lots of intrapreneurs work for me over the years. But it does, as an entrepreneur, it's you that's responsible. The buck stops with you. If your company succeeds, you get to have a really, really successful upside for that and a lot of great satisfaction. But if it fails, you're the one that's out the money that you've invested in the company and all your time. Another thing is a vision. Boy, this sort of formatted a little differently, didn't it? Sorry about that. The vision, you have to have vision because you have to see many, many, many steps ahead. For instance, many of you have blogs. You have a book in the works. You're going to have to not just complete whatever it is that you're going to post. You have to be thinking months and months and months and months in advance, years in advance. If you're going to go on a speaking tour, if you're going to go to workshops and host workshops, if you're going to create a calendar that people can join in on, you have to see not only what this next 6 months is going to look like, but perhaps future products that you might offer on your website. I'm going to use the healthcare blogger as an example, but you've got a blog that talks about health and wellness. Well, it may be that a year from now you want to be able to offer health and wellness products on your site, not only those products that you're going to curate yourself, but also some private label products that are your brand, that you might have third-party companies create private label for you. You have to have a vision of how your company's going to grow beyond what you're just doing today, so that you're generating revenue, assuming that you want these to be businesses for yourself to generate revenue. You also have to be creative. You have lots and lots and lots and lots of competition out there. You have to figure out creative ways that are going to satisfy what the market needs. And the market simply means who is going to exchange value with you. In order to obtain what you have to offer, there's going to be an exchange of value. That could be anything really, but most commonly it's money. We're going to exchange money to buy whatever it is, or to subscribe to a blog, or to subscribe to whatever else you're offering. You also have to be tenacious. You're going to get a lot of people that say no. In 3 of my 6 companies, I have been told that you're too small, you're not well enough, you're not funded well enough. I'm competing. I honestly was competing with companies that were in the Fortune 20. That's the Fortune 20. They are worth billions and billions of dollars. And there were a lot of people that said they could squish me like a bug. And that was true. I got sued by all of them. Because in the United States, they sue you in order to help slow down your growth. Fortunately for us, it didn't work. And we won every case because we didn't do anything wrong. But nonetheless, you have to be able to be tenacious. And no matter what other people are telling you about the possibility of your success, you have to believe enough in yourself, enough in your team, and enough in what you have to offer that it doesn't matter what anybody else says. A lot of people will tell you you can't do something. I don't know, maybe it makes them feel good or more powerful or something, but entrepreneurs don't listen. We are tenacious and we are going to succeed. So, yay for you in advance. And then, of course, we already talked about passion. This is the thing that's going to drive you. It's going to create the fuel that even after having just a day filled with crises, you still have the fuel to make it through the rest of the day and get up the next morning and do it all over again. It's not a burden because it's your business. It's fun. You're going to get paid to have fun. Is that cool or what? All right, so here's your first steps as an entrepreneur. If you're truly considering starting your own business, you have to identify your opportunity. What are you going to offer that solves a problem and that buyers need? And this is really interesting because there's a lot of people that create ideas that solve problems. But are buyers going to buy it? You have to go ask them, and it's preferable that you ask them before you start building the product. Otherwise, you're going to be out a lot of money in a redesign or creating something new and throwing away all of that investment. So you're going to have to identify an opportunity first. The next thing is, I tell you, you need to do a business plan, and there's a lot of resources. Just type into Google free business plan templates, and about 10 companies will pop up, and you can use their free business plan templates. But essentially, this is going to force you to go through all of the things that you need to do in planning a business before you spend any money. You want to see a full picture to see if it's feasible and if it's viable and if it has a possibility of making money. I can't tell you how many businesses I have met who never did a business plan. They decorated a beautiful coffee shop. They signed a lease. They got so excited, and the grand opening day, they opened the door and no one was there. They didn't go through all the steps to figure out how they're going to attract customers to their site. And they just couldn't survive doing that after the fact, after they had all these loans that they had to pay on and they had no money coming in, or at least not enough. So do the work on paper first. See if your business idea can actually make some money. Okay? Then you want to go ahead and figure out, well, you know, in order to get this started and to meet this plan, I need to have some investment money. So you check your savings account, you check your mortgage, whether you can take any more money, you check with friends and family and other kinds of investors, which I'll go over with you a little bit later. But you try and figure out, what dollar do I need in order to reach profitability? In my last company, I had done a business plan, and I sat with my business partner, and we determined that we had a need for $1 million to $1.2 million before we would reach profitability, a sustainable. We got to 1.1 before that happened, but we were really, really close. So you have to figure out how much money you're going to need and where you're going to get it. And then, if you're serious about owning your own company, really serious, find some people in your network, check with some of your professors, check with other business owners that you know, check with friends and family that know other business owners, and find yourself some mentors. Find some people who, when you have questions, when you have concerns, you can turn to them and get some answers. Seattle University and University of Washington both have what are called innovation and entrepreneurship centers, and they have a ton of resources. So if you want to check in with them, since you're taking a UW class, you may have some access there. They have hundreds of business people that have gone through their programs who would be willing to address some of your questions, I'm sure. And then for those of you that are out there that are not in the Washington State area, check with whatever state university is close by. And generally speaking, most of them have an entrepreneurship center, and they have resources that you can contact them, and they'll put you in touch with some people that might be helpful. Okay, so customer service DNA. I was asked by Kelsye to give you a little bit more than just the setup of a business. And one thing I will tell you that has really made a difference in our company competing with Fortune 20 companies and really skyrocketing to market share leader in every company was because we had what we call customer service DNA. And that means that we engaged our coworkers, our customers, our suppliers and vendors, and everyone in their world, people that they cared about, their customers, their suppliers, their coworkers. And we convinced them that we were not just a vendor, that we were actually their partner, and that we were going to do whatever we could to help them be successful and achieve their mission and their goals, and we really would appreciate it if they would do the same. Consequently, the attitude of working together became very, very different. Very different. We only had to be like 2% more responsive than all of the companies that were our competitors. And it was a noticeable difference to the customers. They felt like they were being treated like kings and queens. Just a little bit better. So when you're doing your business, keep that in mind, that you want to out customer service all of your competitors. That will make the biggest difference to your customers. I mean, you still have to have a product that's good or a service that's good. Okay, the customer service will not make up for something a customer does not need. But if you've established the need, and if they are going to consider you as a possible vendor, supplier, partner, all you have to do is out customer service your competitors, and you will find that they will tell so many people what a great experience they're having with you, and then you will get lots and lots of customers by word of mouth. I have repeated this in every company, and it's worked famously. And we competed, like I said, with some giant companies with some big bank accounts. But they have such strict policies and procedures about how they provide customer service that a small entrepreneurial company can out customer service every one of them and make a huge difference. So I encourage you. I have on the screen, I have a LinkedIn article that you can go and check out if you want. I also had a article in Investor Business Daily that talks about customer service DNA as well. You can look that up. I was also asked to talk about some keys to accelerate growth and profitability. And the first thing I will tell you is that you need to create and review your goals daily. I touched on this earlier, and I have a handout that I gave Kelsye to send to everyone. So it's wherever Kelsye's documents.
It's linked under your video.
Linked under your video. Okay, so there's a document. Anyway, it's a one-pager. It's got a pretty quote and picture from Picasso. But if you do these things every single day, if you get up and you write out your goals, your intentions and your goals with gratitude, as though you already received them, as though you already received them. I am so grateful that my company now receives a minimum of $400,000 this month in sales. I am so grateful that I have harmonious relationships with all of my family and friends. I am so grateful that I receive a minimum of this amount of money as income. If you write these out every day, what will happen, and it's been proven, and you can find some scientific studies that support what I'm saying in my book called The Path to Wealth, and I think there's a few free chapters. If you go to my website, maymccarthy.com, you'll see where you can download 3 free chapters of the book that will go over this daily practice that you can use for goal attainment. But if you have an attitude of gratitude, there is proof that the frontal part of your brain lights up, and that's been proven to help you to focus and see more possibilities all day long. And if you have your goals and intentions at the forefront of your thoughts, you're going to be looking for possibilities to make those things true. Try it. I know it'll work for you. So you want to write out your goals in the morning with gratitude. You want to read them out loud with emotion, because as you read, you remember. It anchors it more fully. And then imagine what it looks like when they're realized. As you imagine, what you're doing is using a tried and true technique that every single Olympic and professional athlete uses as part of their training. Athletes train their bodies. They practice, 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 but they also spend a significant amount of time visualizing what they'll be doing to win the competition. They see themselves making the shot. They see themselves swimming the stroke. They imagine, and I do the same thing and teach my salespeople to do the same thing. We imagine our goals being realized and what our life is like when they're realized. Same technique. It works. It turns you into a magnet. Then expect all day long to see those possibilities. When you see a possibility, or what I call a lead, that could be a step to get you one step closer to your goal being realized, take it. See it and take that step. Have courage. Steve Jobs said that you have to have courage to follow your heart and your intuition. Your intuition is one form of receiving a lead. That's a possibility. It's going to tell you to take a step that you may have not seen had you not had your goals at the forefront of your thoughts. Then, when you achieve a goal, celebrate. Figure out at least one person that will be your celebration partner. One person. Turn to your family, friend, neighbor, anybody that really wants the highest and best good for you, and ask them to be your celebration partner. And maybe you guys could come up with a cool little system where whoever has something to celebrate, they text the other one the word celebrate. And then when you can get together by phone or Skype or something like that, you celebrate together. This fuels you to believe that you can achieve your goals. What will happen is some people tell me after they start the technique I describe in the book, oh my gosh, so many miracles have happened. Well, 3 months later, the miracles turn into typicals, and they happen all the time. And that's what I want for all of you, is to be able for you to achieve your goals all the time, easily and joyfully. So you can use those intentions down at the bottom and fill in the blanks. I gratefully stand for whatever it is that the outcome of your intention. What is it that you want to stand for? What's the fully baked realization of that statement, and then fill all the rest of them out as you go along. The second key is to find out if what you have to offer is something that people want to exchange value with you for. And the best way to do that is just go find some of those people and ask them. When we were creating the software and equipment offering for our last company, we actually went to customer sites and said, we know that you're using this kind of product. What's missing? What are you not getting? What are you disappointed with? What do you think could improve it? And then we wrote new software with all the things the customer said they wanted. So go survey. Surveys don't have to be big, complicated things. It could just be a phone call. It could just be meeting somebody for coffee. It could be just going and having 10-minute conversation. But find out before you create what you're going to create if people would be willing to exchange value with you. Then create it. Create what they want. Final thing is to establish a viable plan to profitability. You need to put that roadmap on paper before you start investing any money, okay? If you are a writer, which most of you are, you're writing not only because you have something to say and you want to probably help people. Most writers do. You have something you want to say to help people. So for you, you want to make sure that those people want to be helped in that way. And if not, find out what they do want help with. See if you can get excited about writing about that. Okay. Then follow your business plan and modify. A business plan is a living, breathing document. It is simply a roadmap for you to achieve your goals. So you're going to modify it as things come up, as you learn more about your customers, your vendors, your market. You're going to modify your business plan.
We want time for questions.
Yep. I'm going to go ahead and just zip through this last part. This particular page here, I'm happy to forward to you. Any of you that are going to be starting up a business, there are steps that you need to take in order to be a legal business entity. And these are the steps. I'm not going to go through every one. I'll just give a copy to Kelsye and she can post it for you. But you're going to need to have a legal entity if you're going to be receiving monies as a business. Okay? So, these are just some resources. You can just Google and get lots of additional resources on entrepreneurism and helpful areas that you can get additional information. And that is it. I am ready for questions. That's my book, The Path to Wealth. So now the crowd roars, right?
Online, they're roaring too. I'm actually going to switch it back to your face so that we can see you while we are answering questions.
Okay.
Are you ready?
I'm ready. Hi.
Hi, everybody online. So this is your moment, if you're online, to type in your questions in the chat. And from the digital publishing class, Millen is going to be asking some questions that we have prepared.
Okay.
And go ahead and unmute yourself.
Okay. So, May, I know in your book you talk a lot about the spiritual aspect of it and how it sort of helped you to focus in on what you need to do. What are your thoughts on like gratitude and self-affirmations when it comes to attracting what you want in life and in business?
Well, first of all, gratitude, like I said, it not only puts you in a good mood, but it does light up that frontal part of your brain. And anything that you can do to get you into a mood that will help you to see more possibilities and focus is a good thing. So gratitude is a fuel to direct your attention. Affirmations, incredibly powerful. Affirmation is essentially a goal. You are stating a realized goal. I am so grateful that I am physically fit, trim, toned, energetic, healthy, happy. eternally youthful and increasingly more beautiful. But you can you can use affirmations to describe the end game, and then add gratitude to that. Anything you can do that is taking your attention and moving it to what you want versus what you don't want is going to help you achieve what you want. If you look at your life, it's the result of what you've been putting your attention on. So just refocus to what you want and be grateful.
So how do you keep it fresh, I guess, is what I'm saying. Like, we talked about writing things down on paper and saying them out loud to yourself every day as a daily affirmation, and to sort of manifest whatever it is that you're thinking about in your life. How do you keep it fresh and not monotonous, as like saying the same sentence every day or doing the same thing every day? How do you do that?
Well, for you, it should be really easy because you're a writer. So you can use all sorts of wonderful descriptive words to freshen it up. Mm. But what I will tell you is that I write a gratitude letter every morning, with all of my important goals on there. I am so grateful for this. I am so grateful for this. Oh, this is realized, and I'm so grateful. I keep writing the same thing until I get it. So I have one that was, I'm so grateful for this particular amount of money with a lot of zeros. And I didn't get it as fast as I got a lot of the other stuff. It took a while, because what happens is your brain is going to try and protect you always. So if you've created a goal that is really big and hairy and audacious, I mean really, really big, your brain doesn't want you to be disappointed. So it may take longer. But what happens when you're writing the same thing every day, I'm so grateful that I now have, I'm so grateful that I realize, you change to make it more welcome. You change inside. I'll give you a really short example. One of my workshop attendees had wanted to sing professionally on stage, which meant she wanted to sing on stage and get paid for it. And she had another job, and she's very good at it. And she was always really afraid she didn't know where to start, but she really wanted to do that. So she was saying, I am so grateful that I am a professionally paid singer. And somebody showed up who said, I'm going to this particular event. Would you like to come along? Well, at that event, she met somebody else who heard her say she wanted to sing professionally on stage, who referred her to go to another event with her as a friend. And this crazy path that she followed over the next couple of months, meanwhile she's writing, I am so grateful that I am a professionally paid speaker every morning, she ended up getting invited and paid to sing on stage in front of a crowd. Well, she changed inside to be that professional singer before she ever actually had to demonstrate. It's the same thing when professional athletes use visualizing as part of their training. First of all, they're doing their goals. I'm so grateful that I'm shooting a, 62 or whatever golfers like to shoot. I'm so grateful that I'm making, 8 3-point baskets or what have you. They're seeing themselves. They're changing inside to be that person that will shoot those 3-point baskets. And she changed inside to be that singer. And I changed inside to be the person that had that kind of wealth. So even though it may seem monotonous, it's working.
Yeah, I think the repetition actually does help in that way.
It does. It makes it more welcome.
Yeah.
To stay. That's why a lot of lottery winners lose all their money. They've come from living at a particular level. And then they get this influx of tons of money, but they haven't prepared themselves to welcome it to stay. So they both live. And in fact, turn out financially worse than when they started.
We have a question from the online audience. Mm-hmm. Can you ask? Do you see it? Oh, I'll ask it. I'll jump over and ask. Hello, everybody. From the online audience, the question is, how do you develop those key partnerships? How do you take that first step, and what do you offer?
The key partnership with a customer or a vendor or an employee?
I'm guessing it's with other industries, or I'm not sure. It's
okay.
Not clear online.
Well, let's assume it's a customer. What you want, you're going to have to get a start. So when you're starting your business, you have to have what I call a champion. So the champion is usually the first customer. And in software, what we do is we will cut a deal with them and say, if you'll be our development partner or our customer stakeholder, we'll give you the software for free. You don't have to pay for it until after, and pay for the equipment that we bring in as well until after the installation is complete and you liked what we installed. So getting that first key customer, you're going to have to cut a deal. That help? I hope that answers the question.
One more question from you?
Yeah. So this is something that we've asked a few of the people who have come to speak with us, but we were wondering if you were to add another chapter to your book, what would it be about, do you think, at this point?
If I was going to add another chapter to the book, I might talk about how the practice could be used with a partner. And I would also expand the idea of jump-starting your good, or giving what you feel you're lacking or wanting. Start giving that first, because that is, whatever you give out, you will receive. And there's so many people that will say things like, well, I'm not going to be the first person to call her or call him because he should know he hurt my feelings, right? You've heard your friends say that, right? They're feeling some unforgiveness or resentment or being angry about something someone else did, and so they're holding a grudge. Or I have a workshop attendee who is a accounting manager. So she has a group of people that work for her. And she was just not feeling appreciated. And she was just not feeling appreciated at all. And so I said, well, if you want appreciation, start giving appreciation. So she started appreciating everyone around her, her family, her employees, everyone she could possibly appreciate. Pick up the phone. Hi, just thought of you. Just want you to know how much you mean to me. I'm really grateful to have you in my life. Tell her employees, you guys are doing a great job. We really appreciate you. Really going out of her way to be more appreciative. So here she comes out of her office, and she's got a sea of cubes, those cubicles outside of her office door that her accounting staff works in. She comes walking out. She starts walking down the hallway, and here comes the vice president of the company down the hallway, drops to his knees in front of her, starts flailing his arms in homage, saying how grateful he is and how much he appreciates her and her staff because they found an error and saved the company thousands of dollars. Whatever you feel you're lacking, if you don't have enough time, find one person that's busier than you are. Take their dog for a walk or something. Give them 20 minutes free, right? If you aren't feeling appreciated, appreciate people. If you aren't feeling loved, start telling people around you how much you love them. If you are feeling that you're lacking money, start finding a place where you're spiritually fed and give regularly. And what I mean by that is there's a lot of people that say, well, I don't even have enough money to pay all my bills. Well, guess what? You can make a covenant, a commitment that you will give on just money that is unexpected. And I have a whole long story about that if you want to check out one of my blogs. It's a great story about jump starting your good. So I would expand that.
Well, thank you.
Sure. Can I click out? All right, I'm going to pop in real quick and tell our online audience thank you for tuning in. Now you can see our class snacks in the background. And especially big thanks to May McCarthy. And you can go check out her book, her website, all of her articles, her upcoming webinars and workshops that she's mentioned at www.maymccarthy.com. Look at the event. You can see how to spell her name. And that's it. Make sure that you tune in 2 weeks. We've got Peg Fitzpatrick talking about social media marketing. Thank you all. And I think I have to go to May's computer to shut off the broadcast. Oh yes, hello all.